US AI company Anthropic built a cybersecurity model called Mythos, then found out it's too good, didn't launch it publicly, and that's actually good for us. Here's why. I'm Carolin, known as the Entrepreneurial Chief Information Security Officer. I helped many multi-million revenue companies with their cybersecurity strategy and certification during the last years. And now I translated everything into an online course for small businesses, and I'm teaching cybersecurity strategy on cyguide.com. Here on my social channels, I also post my deep dives, especially when there's a hot burning topic like we have today. Let me try to explain in an easy way what Anthropic actually did with their Mythos cybersecurity model. So, of course, they are an experienced, skilled AI company, and now they have this cybersecurity project, and they wanted to build something for the defenders. They wanted to build something to protect. But the tricky thing about cybersecurity is that everything we do in cybersecurity strategy and IT forensics is dual use, if you like it like that. Like I have the knowledge, I have the skills, and I decide to work on the legal side of business. There's only one decision, and that's based on values and ethics in between those of us who work on the legal side, on the white hat side, and those who use the same skills and the same knowledge to do bad things and attack companies, institutions, and critical infrastructures. And the thing we have here is that the AI doesn't make this value-based ethical decision, but the developers have to do it for them, and they did. So they decided that they will not publish this tool, this model to the world, because they can't control how people would use it. This is the ethical decision that the AI did not make, but that the developers had to make for the AI. Where is this global panic, as some media headlines call it, coming from, that also governments think about this Anthropic Mythos AI cybersecurity model? And, everybody's discussing like what happened if they would have published it. So this is because it's actually the last wake-up call for so many decision makers. Like, we have bad numbers about it, but 75 to 95% of companies globally, and especially the smaller, lower regulated ones, they don't have a proper cybersecurity strategy. So they are the ones who might have the most gaps, the most unmaintained IT infrastructures, still carrying things around that have actually been a problem 5, 10, 15 years ago, never heard about it, never maintained, never fixed. So imagine a world where you have so many companies globally, 75 to 95%, with all these gaps and actual cybersecurity issues. And then you have an AI who can find all these vulnerabilities in maybe under a second. This is what we don't want to see. This is what we don't want to have. We want to have a bit more time to reach those companies and to help them work on their cybersecurity strategy. And this is why I say this discussion around Anthropic Mythos is one of the last wake-up calls, maybe the last wake-up call we get for global cybersecurity, and to actually find ways to help those smaller companies, but also the bigger ones who might have issues in their cybersecurity strategy or leadership, to fix the gaps before it's so much easier to find them and to exploit them if you have the wrong user in front of the screen. You might ask yourself now, is this true? And how is it even possible that an AI company like Anthropic can build such a powerful model like Mythos and then doesn't publish it and warns governments about it? Like, is this a marketing stunt? But therefore, you have to know that in cybersecurity, we have so many different aspects. And what we're talking about here is actually IT forensics. And in IT forensics, we work so much with patterns on both sides. So we as defenders and the attackers, we love patterns, because what we do on the good side is when I find a vulnerability in a very specific setting in the IT ecosystem of a company, I test it, and then the first thing I do is I warn all my colleagues globally, like all cybersecurity experts globally, and we have different channels for that and different institutions helping with that, so that everybody knows, and then we are searching for this pattern and we fix it, and everything's fine again until we find the next vulnerability, and then we get a warning or we find it ourselves and we send a warning. And now imagine this simultaneity of AI finding a vulnerability, but not just in one environment, in one specific setup, but in like all the different setups nearly at the same time. And this is actually, with this pattern recognition thing, what AI is really good at. So it's IT forensics on steroids. And yes, this is what an AI model can do. Especially in business discussions, there have been some misunderstandings because some think that cybersecurity is also something for IT providers, so for companies selling software or hardware or AI tools. That's not the case. Like, every company is using the internet in the meantime, and every company has at least a minimum IT infrastructure. And so many have adjusted functions and connectivity and APIs over time. So you have a very specific collection of tools to use, software, hardware, AI tools. You know, some things you know about, something that we call shadow IT or shadow AI, where you don't even know about that your colleagues use it. So you have these unique setups in the companies. And every company is responsible for their own cybersecurity strategy, and the software or hardware provider is actually just a vendor that you would check. But also for that, you have to know what you're doing on your cybersecurity strategy so that you can forward your requests to your vendors. And I hear this often, but cybersecurity strategy is for every single company in the own interest of the company, the owners, the founders, and the people who work there, because this is how we protect our work environment, what we work on, our client information, our own information, all the things that are connected to business. And then we have a deeper look at what software we actually buy, what hardware providers we work together with. And of course, they are also a company. They also have to take care of their cybersecurity strategy. And there's also a lot of accountability and liability around. But it's not that cybersecurity is a thing that's only for software or hardware provider. What can you do now to protect your company, protect your workplace, and don't end up in the mess of an AI-driven cyber attack? The only thing that helps is a working, clear cybersecurity strategy. And we have a great program now on cyguide.com, especially for smaller companies when you want structure and guidance and step-by-step tutorials. And if that's too tiny for you, then definitely now sit down, do your research, and find the right partners who can come in, hold hands, bring the whole security team, and can build the cybersecurity strategy for your budget and for your business model. But this around the Anthropic Mythos AI model might be the last wake-up call that we get globally to fix security gaps before AI can find them in under a second.